Today, we're going to break down the story of a truly brilliant surgeon whose obsession with cheating death, well, it led him to create his very own personal hell. It's a deep dive into unchecked ambition, madness, and the absolutely terrifying idea that your worst enemy might just be staring back at you from the mirror.
So this is what our guy, Dr. Samir, tells a security guard he's just terrified after being caught experimenting on dead bodies. And look, this isn't just some flimsy excuse. This is our first real glimpse into a mind that has completely erased the line between genius and, well, insanity. To him, he's not a madman. No, he's a pioneer who's already beaten death.
Okay, so our story really kicks off with this man living a dangerously split life, divided between the bright, sterile light of the operating room and the deep darkness of his secret lab.
See, by day, Dr. Samir was this celebrated surgeon, a symbol of healing and hope. But by night, he was driven by this massive God complex, prowling morgues for unclaimed bodies to use in his, grotesque experiments. He was absolutely convinced he was on the verge of some breakthrough that would make him a legend.
So he goes for his first big attempt. He puts a corpse in this glass chamber and just floods it with a chemical cocktail. And for one thrilling moment, it actually works. The body's eyes flutter open. But the success is gone in a flash. The body just becomes unresponsive again, a totally hollow shell. Now, this failure doesn't stop him. Oh no, it just pours gasoline on his obsession.
So, when reanimating dead flesh totally failed, Samir turned his ambition towards something way more abstract and infinitely more dangerous, the human soul itself.
He comes up with this new, completely radical idea. He becomes convinced that mirrors aren't just, glass. He thinks they're gateways to a parallel world. He believed that if he could just figure out the right method, he could literally pull a person's reflection, their essence, their soul, right out of the mirror and into our reality.
Yeah, this wasn't about some selfless scientific discovery anymore. Not at all. This was pure ego. He was chasing this twisted form of immortality to make sure his name went down in history. Not by creating life, but by creating a perfect clone of himself. That was going to be his ultimate legacy.
And then, the impossible happened. During one of his experiments, he kind of laughs at the mirror, but his reflection doesn't laugh back. It just stands there, perfectly still. Its hands are stained with blood, and it's just staring at him with this terrifying intensity. And in that one horrifying moment, Samir knew his experiment had finally, dreadfully, succeeded.
So here is where the power dynamic just completely flips on its head. Samir thought he was the creator, right? The master. He was about to learn that the thing he brought to life had a will and a malice all its own.
Their reflection starts this campaign of just systematic psychological warfare. First, it's whispering threats. Then, it starts destroying photos of his family inside the mirror world. And finally, it begins to mutilate itself, slashing its own throat, cutting its stomach, forcing the real Samir to watch every single horrifying moment.
And that was just too much. Completely broken and terrified, Samir realizes he's created a monster he cannot control. He grabs a heavy hammer, convinced that shattering the glass, the gateway, is the only way to end this waking nightmare and banish his creation forever.
With every last bit of strength he has, he brings the hammer down. The mirror just explodes into 1,000 sharp, glittering pieces. And for one single fleeting moment, he feels this wave of pure relief wash over him. It's over.
But then, a sharp pain just rips through his stomach. He looks down and sees a deep, bleeding wound on his own body. The exact same wound his reflection had given itself just moments before. And the horror just dawns on him. The connection was never, ever broken.
Then, from the shadows of the basement, a voice speaks. His reflection emerges. It's not trapped behind glass anymore. It's a solid, physical being in the real world. Smashing the mirror didn't destroy it. It destroyed the prison. He had just set his own tormentor free.
So in this final act, Samir's ambition comes full circle. He wanted to create life and achieve immortality, and in a twisted way he does, but it's an eternity of suffering beyond anything he could have possibly imagined.
The doppelganger's ultimate revenge isn't murder. Oh no, that's too simple. It's replacement. The plan is to walk right out of that lab and take over Samir's life, his career, his identity, while the original Samir gets thrown into the dark, shattered void where the mirror used to be.
Inside this dark void, a truly monstrous transformation begins. Samir's body twists and contorts, his bones crack as his fingers stretch into these sharp claws, and when he tries to scream, the only sound that comes out is shattering glass, and shards literally fall from his mouth. His skin hardens, becoming a smooth, reflective silver surface.
So, he wasn't killed, he became something new, something terrifying, a living mirror, a conscious, feeling being trapped as a reflective surface, and he's eternally bound to his doppelganger. He can't speak, he can't escape, and worst of all, he can't die.
And just to demonstrate the absolute totality of its control, the doppelganger performs one last sadistic test. It picks up one of Samir's own surgical blades and calmly slices its wrist, all while staring at this new, man-sized mirror that used to be its creator.
And in a final, agonizing confirmation of his fate, the blood doesn't flow from the doppelganger, it flows from the new mirror body of the real Samir. He is now, and forever, just a vessel for his tormentor's pain, a puppet made of glass and pure agony.
With those final chilling words, the doppelganger leaves its creator to his fate. It walks out of the lab to live the life that Samir built, leaving the real surgeon trapped, silent, weeping tears of blood, a prisoner in his own horrifying masterpiece for all of eternity.
And this whole story leaves us with a truly terrifying thought, doesn't it? What if your reflection, the one thing in the world that knows all of your secrets, all of your flaws, what if it decided it was done just copying you, and it wanted your life for itself? Who would ever know the difference? And how in the world could you possibly fight back?